Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's Vlogmas video, we're going to be talking about what it's like working Black Friday and also some other crazy experiences I've had while working retail. So let's get into it. So first, let's talk about what it's like working Black Friday. So at one of the stores I worked at for Black Friday, Charlotte Russe, I don't really remember anything about working Black Friday. That's all kind of like a blur to me. But I do remember what it was like working Black Friday for Eddie Bauer. So let's talk about that. So as a manager, I worked 12-hour shifts on Black Friday. And I do remember working at one point from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then another shift that I had was from noon to midnight. And then when I was just a regular sales associate at Eddie Bauer, I don't remember the shift exactly that I worked, but it was a weird one. And I ended up working until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on like Thursday night into Friday morning. So it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday. So it would have been Black Friday. And where I worked in this shopping center where there was a Target right next to my store. And nobody was at Target, or there was no line to get inside. So it's like, I'll go check out Target. And I went in and I bought this gaming chair for a really good deal. It was only like 50 bucks. I no longer have that chair because it was incredibly uncomfortable, but it was a good deal at the time and I really liked it, so it was worth it, I guess. Also, I remember one year while I was working for Eddie Bauer, I was working the cash register, and I remember at one point just looking up and looking at all of the people around me and just seeing nothing from wall to wall but people. It was insane. And honestly, just like the amount of go backs, because we had our fitting rooms still open at this time, was incredible too. Like, I don't think I've ever seen, well, I've obviously seen that much clothing before because of the store itself, but like in the fitting rooms, never seen that much clothing before. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the crazy shit that happened to me while working a retail job. Okay, so when I was working at Charlotte Russe, I remember one time we had this lady come in and she had bought one of those silicone bras. It was back when they were pretty much first becoming like pretty mainstream and popular. And she said she tried it on. She tried on our bra and was like, it didn't fit, so I want to return it. After she put them on, stuck them onto her boobs. Obviously, I couldn't take that back. And it was even in our return policy stated on the receipt she bought it with, saying we didn't accept returns of any kind. So she was super upset. She told me she used to work for Charlotte Russe, which I was like, well, if you used to work for Charlotte Russe, then you would have known they don't accept returns, especially on things like underwear and bras. And I didn't say that to her, but I really should have. But anyways, I told her we still couldn't accept it. And then she said she was going to, quote unquote, ruin me for not letting her return a $12 bra to Charlotte Russe. Even though she should have known she shouldn't have been able to return it in the first place. So there's that story. Another time when I was also working at Charlotte Russe, dealing with another customer wanting to return stuff. I don't remember what this girl was trying to return, but she was trying to return stuff, and I know it was outside of the return policy, but we were still working with her anyways, like doing an exchange at least. And I don't remember all the events that led up to this, but I just remember at one point her talking to one of the other managers and then pointing to me and being like, well, that little whore right there. And I was just like, girl, don't make me turn around and smack you, please. Because I literally did nothing to deserve that, but whatever. And then also, another time while working at Charlotte Russe, it was just like a normal day. I wasn't dealing with a return for this one. But there were these girls who we have caught stealing in our store before. they were back trying to steal again. And so this time I was the one in charge of kind of following them around and making sure they don't actually steal anything. And because I did that, they got mad, obviously. And I kind of like followed them up to the front of the store by the door. And they kind of just like gave up. I think they did end up stealing some things though too before they left, which is kind of like the kicker. It's like they were mad at me for stopping them from stealing, but they still ended up stealing from us. But anyways, because they were mad at me for stopping them from stealing everything they wanted to steal, as they were leaving, one of them hit me in the back of the head. Like they smacked me in the back of the head. And I've never been in a fight before, but let me tell you, I almost got in one that day. I looked at one of my other co-workers and I got on my little walkie and I was like, oh my god, one of those girls just hit me in the head. And they were like, what? And I was like, they are so lucky I'm on the clock and I'm smart enough to know that there's 3 of them and 1 of me, so this would have never worked out for me, but I could fight. I'm about ready to throw hands. I just didn't want to lose my job. That's really probably the most exciting things that happened while I was working at Charlotte Russe. But while I was working at Eddie Bauer, I remember there was like probably about 2 or 3 weeks where we had this issue with this like it was actually like a couple different groups of people. I remember who were going to like from store to store in our area, just up and down Western Washington, and they're hitting up all the Eddie Bauer stores, whether they were retail or outlet, and they were just running in and grabbing everything at the front of the store that they could and then running out and either selling it online or returning it to other stores. It was a big deal at the time. And they came to our store not to steal, but to like sell other things that they had stolen. And I was actually helpful. I don't remember if they actually caught the people, but I did something helpful. So these girls were in here in our store trying to return stuff that they stole. And we know that they stole it because it matched the description to other items that had been stolen from other stores. That's like one thing that's nice about being in management, you know all of this stuff. So we're going through, and typically when you return something without a receipt or really any proof of purchase, we would ask for their ID because you're supposed to. It kind of just like keeps track of everyone, I guess, in our system to make sure no one's a thief and continually stealing from us. Thankfully, these girls were like, okay. So they gave us their IDs. Well, I actually went to our office and I took a picture of their ID and then I sent it to our the actual store manager, and she was like, how did you get their ID? And I was like, I literally just asked for it. Although I'm pretty sure it wasn't a real ID. It had to be a fake one because the name on her ID was ridiculous. Because that means the mastermind of all of these thefts was named Champagne Beavers. I'm not saying someone smart can't be named Champagne Beavers. You know, we don't choose our names. I'm just saying if I've ever heard a fake name, Champagne Beavers is definitely a fake name. So, and then also one time when I was working at that same Eddie Bauer, we had some other lady come in. It was like during a Memorial Day sale, which is always a good sale, and she was like complaining that even our sale price stuff was too expensive and was trying to bargain with me about buying a bag. She wanted to buy it for like $2 instead of like $10, and I was like, no ma'am, this is a store, so our prices are final. And then she just looked at me and she goes, ugh, this is why I don't have a house anymore, and then just walked off. You know, I used to think that Charlotte Russe was the only crazy place I worked at, but after those couple stories about Eddie Bauer, I'm starting to realize that was a pretty weird place to work at too. Anyways, thanks for tuning into today's videos, you guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!